This is the K-pop Daebak show with Eric Nam. Ooh.
Well, how did this collab come together? We should mention to the listeners that you have a new song out. It's called Empire, and it's featuring a member of I-DLE. So tell us about how that happened, getting them to feature and what that process was like.
Well, I was so lucky because I remember it's such a big story because when I-DLE just came out, or Idol, some people call them Idol, they were like literally my favorite girl group
at
that time. When they came out with Latata, I was like, oh my gosh, I love them. I love their concept. They seem unique, very fresh. And it was just like struck a chord with me,
right.
you know? So I was just like, oh my God, I love this girl group. And went straight to my music manager, Danny. I'm like, Daddy, I love this. You must listen to the songs. Made him listen to the songs. Listened to Latata a billion times in the first month. And then so when this Empire concept came out, I'll be like, wouldn't it be cool if like the lead vocalist did rap? It's like a totally different concept for me as well.
Right.
It's a different concept for everyone.
Right.
That's what Empire is about. So if you watch a music video, it's about light and dark. And it's about, you always have the light side, which is the side you show to the world that's like happy. And then you have the dark side, which isn't necessarily evil, but it is something you're trying to hide, the other side of you.
Right.
And what it's about is empire. It's like you can't really rule or grow your empire and build it until you accept the whole of you, right? And that means that other side maybe you're too scared to show. It's very different from what people seemed.
Right.
So that's why this concept was also very different for me and also very different for Minnie.
Right.
So I think it was a very special, like the whole concept just pulled together like that.
I mean, speaking about, I guess, kind of the dark side, was there anything that through this song or like through the promotions of it that you came to terms with yourself in terms of like, oh, this is just kind of a side of me that a lot of people don't know or a lot of people may not know, but I'm kind of wanting to put out there now. Was there anything like that by chance?
Yeah, so if you look at all my content, I'm very like rainbow and colorful and like cheerful. So I was almost very afraid to put this concept out because it's very different to what people would have expected of me. And also through this journey, like it's kind of funny because like it really put me face to face with my insecurities. It's like I'm collaborating with a K-pop idol of a girl group I fully respect. Like how much like security will you need to like step up to that plate? And I was like very insecure about it, especially like in the process. I'm like, am I going to do a good job? Is this going to happen? What if I ruin everything? What if like, so it's like, it really also had me face that side of me.
Okay.
And I think that was a good journey to finally accept like, wow, okay, so I am insecure. That's cool.
Yeah.
Just
being able to recognize that.
Yeah, that's nice. Like, let's listen to that.
Right.
Like, not ignore it. Because a lot of the time you try and ignore it and you're just like push it aside and just like keep going.
Right.
That's kind of how I've dealt with it for a lot of time. But when you're face to face with such a big project, it's in your face. You're just like, well, I just have to learn to deal with it or it's not going to happen.
No, I think that's a very like a cool thing that you came to terms with. I think for me too, it's kind of, you have to embrace whatever challenge is coming at you and just kind of go at it full on. Which I think for a lot of people can be very challenging and difficult to do. I think for me, I'm at this point where, be it musically or professionally in many different aspects, it's hard to be very honest with yourself, right? But the moment that you do get that point of true honesty and you're like, oh, I personally fit with this very well, or like, I really hate this, whatever it is, then you're able to use that for like the better. So I think that's like a really cool message that I'm sure a lot of your followers and your fans will be able to relate with as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was, I think being on camera as well, especially on YouTube, it's kind of ironic because YouTube is probably the most authentic platform you can find in terms of like how real things are.
Right.
But even that has its, facades.
Right.
So it's like you're almost like just having to face that because you're in YouTube mode or, artist mode or whatever mode. Yeah, having that honest moment was really special.
I have a question for you, actually. So I look at people who are very active on YouTube, and it, like, to me, it has to be the most exhausting job in the world. Because you're literally putting your entire life out there for everybody to see. And as we all know with YouTube, like, being consistent and having constant pieces out is incredibly important. Have there been moments where you're just like, I am so overwhelmed, or I want to break, or I don't want to do this, or like, have you had those moments and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, like all the time. Like what a lot of people don't know is because I have so many different channels.
Right.
We put out about 17 to 25 pieces of content per week. And that's
Per week?
Per week. And that's not even including my music project.
How do you do that?
I have,
How is that possible?
I have a great team that supports me, but I also shoot a lot because I am out of those like 17 pieces, I'm in about 8 to 9 pieces of that content.
What are the other, like, let's say 10 pieces?
There are a lot of like craft projects and things like that may not necessarily need me.
Oh,
but like what I've built out for my side of the business is more where kind of like, I don't want to just be a YouTuber. You know, I feel like that's so one-dimensional. And yes, I did start off with that, but it gave me an opportunity to expand. So it's like, I want to be a really great, you know, digital production house. On that side, and I want to be a great artist, you know, on the other side. So there's all these things I want to grow into. And I think part of this journey is really special because I feel like a lot of the audience just see YouTubers as YouTubers. Like you can't be anything else.
Right.
And every time you try and break out of that mold, they're just like, no, but you're a YouTuber.
They call you out on it.
Yeah.
For no reason, yeah.
And I'm like, but like, I think creative people have so many facets. We're creative because we want to make a ton of different things.
This is the K-pop Daebak show with Eric Nam.